Today I've got its current year bravely taking a double acrobat, Gorebull of course. Here, Beastmen versus Lizardmen, and it's going to be a quick Vanguard action, so let's get to the builds. Its current year coming in hot with some Ungor Spearman Herd, he's got Ungor Herd, a couple of Centaurs of Tzeentch, of course, the two Gorebulls, anti-large AP heroes. Decent overall, not incredible, but definitely gives you some good AP punch here. Malagor, of course, being caster up in the air. We've got some Centaurs throwing axes, as well as for the Lizardmen, skink skirmishers up front, Saurus spears, three of them in the center with some skink cohorts to the side, Arc of Sotek and anti-large, sort of, I guess not direct anti-large, but ancient salamander here with its flaming attacks, of course. Tenuin on foot, interesting choice, Court of Waddle to back them up. He's looking for some very cheap Flocks of Doom here, potentially. I say very cheap. He's not actually that cheap, but there you go. Also got some Feral Cold Ones out on the side here for a bit of flexibility and mobility. Let's get things rolling as very quickly these two will move for a clash here in the center. Saurus Spears is definitely a solid choice this matchup. Mid-tier infantry in general is in a little bit of a weird place as the pendulum has swung towards cavalry and monsters and chariots in the last few patches. Anti-large infantry specifically has gotten more useful, I feel like, but just mid-tier infantry in general, like Chaos Warriors, Saurus, a lot of those units not in the best place in terms of cost effectiveness, but Centaur is quite cost effective. Typically here, running the front line, get massacred by Saurus and everything else. Nice quick block of Doom as well to bust them up. But meanwhile, out on the flanks here, Feral Cold Ones suffering pretty badly as they try and engage more superior units. We've got Skinks facing off against Ungors here on a big kind of side flank. Some of those Saurus also being bogged down there where they definitely need to come support potentially in other spots here, although Centaurs of Tzeentch also here being dealt with quite nicely. But of course, Gorebulls doubled up here, fighting the cohort of Waddle along with a little bit of support. Although, no, actually, they're completely surrounded right now. You might think they'd be getting pummeled, but actually trading okay, especially with the Ungor Raiders there. Some really nice, cost-effective supporting fire. Great volume of fire. Enfeebling foe also from Malagor, of course. Going to nerf their melee stats, at least momentarily. The Horde of Tzeentch, or rather, Centaurs of Tzeentch. And rally here, quick little rear charge, and then ping away as they're looking for some other targets. Gore Herd also coming back from route. We've got a big, fat wad of skink skirmishers, though. Nice volume of fire, being able to concentrate there where Tenuin is. Centaurs are going to disrupt them since they're all so close. Nice Flock of Doom opportunity as well. Centaurs from the other side, so because the Lizardmen so clumped up there, they're going to be punished for that by the Beastmen mobility. But let's see. Horde of Waddle just, again, getting gatted down by numbers of raiders. The Ancient Salamander, though, definitely making its presence felt, shooting at the cheap raiders. Tactically, this is going to be good, even though value-wise they're not the most expensive units in the world, but does need to switch targets onto that second one. Two Gorebulls are proving to be a problem, though, as this Lizardman build, besides, Cohort of Waddle plus infantry support, really doesn't have a great direct option for them. Tenuin, being small here, will work in his benefit. Doesn't have a lot of HP, though, fight 2v1 especially, so it's going to need some support as well. Right now, the Bastildon Arc of Sotek here, actually, not a Rev Crystal. Very bold choice. Not going to be the best. I think maybe arguably the worst, actually, right now, Bastildon variant. Polar Engine, Rev Crystal are just strictly better, I think. The damage on that Arc of Sotek is not incredible. Been nerfed a few times over time, rightfully so. Not great right now, though. We'll see. But it does look like the Ancient Salamander is starting to get some contact on the Gorebulls, trying to add some extra damage in there. You can see the Cohort of Waddle also kind of pulling away a little bit from them, trying to create some space here. Skink Skirmishers getting ready to get back online, try and fight it out here, but Centaurs are throwing axes, of course. Great hybrid cavalry. Melee can do a quick hit-and-run charge, then back towards the woods, screen some of those shots, and stay safe from the blowpipes of those Skink Skirmishers. Tenuin also kind of just hanging with his units here. The Bastildon, though, just failing to get away from those double Gorebulls, has been punished significantly despite its immunity to flanking. Just great stats, anti-large of the Gorebull, straight up beating it in melee. Old-fashioned way. Absolutely fantastic. Nice Flock of Doom there as well, just continuing to output DPS for Malagor. He's probably got some pretty good value racked up so far. Nothing crazy, but respectable 700, about 10,000 damage dealt. Definitely helping to clear through some of that chaff. Tactically, again, quite useful, but Centaur is staying aggressive here. moving out in space, charging down various units. These Saurus Spears and Skinkor do end up winning out this engagement, but again, kind of just getting bogged down and sort of put into tactical reserve, if you will, forgotten about, and this Saurus Spear in particular definitely could come back and help. With the Cohort of Waddle kind of dazing these two Gorebulls, they will suffer extra. Yeah, Ancient Salamander also is a single entity. Definitely will get creamed 2v1. Even 2v2 or with some extra support. It's going to struggle there just due to its low HP and the Gorebull's great stats. But Skink Skirmishers moving in. Nice upgraded Flock of Doom, continuing to DPS them down as the Salamander tries to pull away. Lizardmen forced into a little bit of a kiting situation here, which is going to lead to a lot of their kind of isolated units just getting mopped up here. The Saurus Spear, their slow speed means they're likely to get dragged down by a decent amount of remaining Ungor Raiders, throwing axes still as well. Tenowin standing firm for the time being. And the Gorebull's getting a little bit separated right now, which they definitely want to try and stay together as much as possible. But even 1v1 here, Gorebull has pretty good chances against the Ancient Salamander. Getting a nice roll attack there, and gonna use that great weapon to great effect. Course for anti-large. This looks like he's got some heroic killing blow active. Yeah, going to significantly increase their weapon strength there. You can definitely stack that with some various other effects. Just only 8 from Blood Greed. That is interesting. I guess charges up, right? Hasn't charged up a ton yet, but still, it is getting a little bit extra. But both Gorebulls now moving in for this final engagement. Probably fast forward a little bit as the Salamander makes its final escape attempt. Fortunately, Doom and Darkness there. Wow, Malagor really brought a full spell kit here. Let's see. Doom and Darkness, Flock of Doom, and Enfeebling Foe. So lots of utility there. DPS, leadership damage, single target debuffs, then Gorebulls to hunt things. I actually like it quite a bit. You know, the Gorebulls, one of their weaknesses can be getting bogged down in big blobs of stuff, so Flock of Doom definitely helps with that, and Malagor being flying, very mobile, he can stay away from threats potentially. I like this quite a bit, actually. This combination. Gorebulls both do a great job paying for themselves. We'll have to check their cost. I don't actually remember. It's been so long since I've used them, but certainly respectable here. Tentacores with throwing axes also did a great job. Even if the Tentacores of each were somewhat sacrificed, the rest of the units here, Gore Hurts, did they get an anti-infantry bonus? They seem like pretty good DPS overall against the Lizardmen infantry, but everything plays its role here pretty well overall. Anti-Kaiju here tries his best with the Lizardmen. Saurus Spears definitely like the pick in this matchup. I just think maybe they got a little bit caught in the wrong positions at times. Yeah, Cohort of Waddle also hard to argue with too much. Ancient Salamander, even despite problems it had, was able to get close to paying for itself. Same with these Skink Skirmishers. Like, really hard to argue with just going wide with cheap, right? But certainly the Distilled On Arc of Sotek, I mean, it's a thematic pick, so you can't really argue too hard with that, but definitely not the best right now. Red Crest is another kind of thematic pick in this that they're just honestly not great right now. Could probably do with a little bit of a buff. But Lizardmen are super strong, so it's not like they need that much more buffs. But just to have units be viable is nice. But anyway, let's double check Gorebull's cost. Been so long since I've used him, but what a gent he is. And in a situation like that, wasn't getting flung too much. Obviously, the Lizardmen do have things that can send him catapulted into space, which is why I called him an acrobat initially. But he's got quite a bit going here. Axe of Men can cause terror and give him unbreakable. It's decently expensive, so gotta be watching out for that. 1050 base cost, though, for all-around great stats. Maybe pick up, like, Heroic Killing Blow if you have it. Slaughterer's Call is also nice to have on one of them. You don't need it on both if you're going to be taking two, right? Like, you can cut this guy down. And yeah, go for Heroic Killing Blow. Banner of Fallen Kings also gets a little bit of a weapon strength buff if they're below 50% HP, but oftentimes they're having leadership issues at that point, so I don't know. Generally not worth it. Of course, with heroes, typically you want to cheap them as much as possible, so you really got to be sort of careful and decisive about what abilities you bring. This Axe of Man, again, if you don't have terror in your build and you're against a low leadership faction, you have the extra gold, it's certainly a nice one to have on tap. Something like this, both 1400 with some Heroic Killing Blow and different abilities, gives you some good utility. And of course, Malagor, probably the best caster option, just excellent mix of spells and really gives you a lot of utility. Although the Brace Shaman Lord of Wild, of course, is a great pick as well if you're looking for more single entity DPS, then Trader Kin is going to be much better than Flock of Doom. Against Lizardmen, you might see some big nasties, like the Dread Saurian, but probably still can deal with it, even with that build. I don't know, probably be tough for double Gorebull against this Saurian, but hard to say. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.